Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is Hurdle the Line. This is take two of actually getting going on the episode. It is St. Patrick's Day. I promise I have not been on the Guinness, but I do believe I've got a bottle of Guinness or a can of Guinness with me. Oh wait, no, that is Tom. How are we, sir?
Hey, yeah, I'm good, man. I've had a couple of Guinnesses, got to celebrate St. Patrick's Day in the best way possible. Just went down to the pub, had a couple, and now I'm back ready for the episode. So let's go.
Yeah, making me feel like I've not done anything. I'm trying to look around see if I've got anything green. Um, I don't think I did. I think I've got. Hang on, I've got an old bottle of aloe vera drink here. I can't see
Hey, go
anyway.
on
It's
then.
green.
Sorted. You got the
Yeah,
green.
it's green. It's fine. Um, with that being said, just a couple of quick house things before we get properly going. As always, you can follow AAW Network on the socials, follow Hurdle Line on the socials. All the links are in the description. But the best thing you can do over the next few weeks is while the off season's here. Like it's boring, it's long, but do you know what? Do you know what makes it a lot better? A community of people you can chat with about just about anything from football to basketball. March Madness is coming up starting this week. We've got a March Madness bracket. Again, I'll leave the link in the description. But this community, come and find it on Discord. We've got loads of chats going, everything from all sorts of sports, all sorts of different topics. Come and chat with us and get through the off season together. Anyway, right, with that out the way, let's get straight into it. It's St. Patrick's Day. That is the first bit of news. Have we got any other major bits of news that aren't necessarily for agency or trade related? I can't think of anything at the moment.
No, I don't think so. I think it's more to do with these massive contracts that got given out. But other than that,
Yeah, just a couple of massive contracts. Um, we. Oh wait, no, I'm not logged in on that one. Otherwise, that would have given me maybe a couple of headlines. With that in mind, then I think we should just get pretty much straight onto the headlines. Obviously, well,
yeah,
in the next couple of weeks, we've got the spring meeting for the owners at the end of the
yeah.
month. We'll cover that a bit closer to the time. There are a couple of things coming out that are potential rule changes being put forward. Everyone already knows that every year now the tush push getting banned is one that gets brought up at the meeting. Maybe now the Eagles have won the Super Bowl and it's won them a Super Bowl. Other owners might say, "Yeah, no, you can't do that anymore. It's not fair. You're winning with it." But we'll see. So contracts, right? Again, I told you off air. I'm gonna whack through a list. We'll just see what comes up basically that we didn't get last week as of last week. Did we mention Josh Dobbs to the Patriots on a 2-year deal?
I don't think we did. But that's a nice little pickup for the Patriot. Obviously, he's got some experience now playing in the league. So a good backup for them.
Yeah, and nice to have him behind someone like Drake May.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Pastronaut and Drake May. That's a good little combo there. Um, again, nothing major, nothing major. Kyle Usich was
Yeah, yeah,
dropped
that
by
was a
the
bit of a saga,
49ers.
wasn't it? Because he got released by the 49ers, and then, we thought that he might be done with the 49ers, but then he's actually re-signed with
Yeah,
them on I think a 2-year deal. So clearly
sounds
they
about.
wanted to keep him around, his veteran presence, his leadership in that locker room.
Yeah,
I know one person that was very excited about it was George Kittle because he literally posted about it as soon as
yeah,
as soon as it happened. So yeah, good to get him
yeah.
back there.
I mean,
It would be weird to see him at any other team, to be honest.
yeah,
So
yeah. Well, do you see the receiver documentary on Netflix?
yeah,
Just even down to the fact that George Kittle's missus and Kyle Usich's missus is they get on really well as well, and
yeah.
clearly very close. Like you can imagine. Chase Young signs a 3-year, $51 million deal with New Orleans. Um, that man's career just won't go anywhere. I can't think of him lighting it up anywhere he's gone, particularly.
The only place he did is when he was a rookie at
Well, yeah.
Washington.
Um,
He won Rookie of the Year, didn't he,
oh,
right?
yeah, yeah, well, yeah, there's that.
And he was having a great, but then yeah, since then he's just kind of bounced around. He was with the 49ers, then he's with the Saints. But I guess the fact he's re-signed with the Saints have some confidence in him
Yeah.
to be their guy. So we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah, just one for me here. And it's not a major piece of news, but I'm always happy to see Dan Skipper has signed a 1-year contract with the Lions. You'll all know him from the Cowboys game a couple of years ago when he reported eligible. Taylor Decker, he did not report eligible. Taylor Decker did. And the whole saga of refs being stupid and not doing the jobs properly. And then from the Cowboys game this season, where Ben Johnson made a point of lining him up at wide receiver and having him run routes when we were dominating AT&T. Um, Going up, anything else? Uh, Nothing major popping off. Jonathan Allen, defensive tackle, has signed a 3-year, $51 million contract with the Vikings.
Yeah, that's a good move for them. I mean, it was surprising that I mean, because he's one of the good players on that D line for the Commanders. I know they got Deron Payne as well, but he was one of the good ones. So for him to go to the Vikings, that adds to who they already got. They've already
Yeah,
got Dallas Turner, right?
yeah,
And Jonathan Grenard, I believe, as well. So they've got some guys that can rush the passer. So
yeah.
they're going to be a good defense next year.
Christian Fulton, in Kansas. That was a nice little one.
Yes,
Two
I
years,
was
20
very
million.
happy with that one. Obviously, he struggled towards the end of last year, but I think the way that he plays is going to suit the way that the Chiefs play, because it means that Trent McDuffie can go back to slot corner, which is his natural position, and then you got two
Yeah,
outside corners in Chris in no, in D Watson, in Jalen Watson
yeah,
and Christian Fulton. So it allows some flexibility, and the Chiefs clearly see that they can get some value from that deal, having given
yeah,
him some good guaranteed money. So hopefully he can work out and be CB2.
yeah. Daniel Jones signing with the Colts was a fun one.
Yes.
Quick question. Do you think it spells distrust in AR?
Um. Kind of, yes, but at the same time, it kind of gives him motivation as well because if he can't beat out Daniel Jones to be the starter, then he shouldn't be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
So I think there's a level of that. I hope AR does beat him out because I've still got high hopes for AR, even if
yeah,
he's not the most polished passer right now. So we'll have to wait and see. But I think it just gives him added motivation to beat out that guy.
yeah, 100%. And let's face it, it's not like AR has lit the league. It's lit up a couple
Mm.
of passes, but it's not like it's lit the league up as a whole.
No.
Um, Cooper Cup was officially released by the Rams. Marcus Mariota has signed a 1 year contract with Washington. Aaron Rodgers has been designated a post June 1st cut by the
Yes.
Jets. Still unsure where he's going to go. I think the Steelers and the Giants are the front runners, and then the Vikings are apparently are in there somewhere with some interest. Now, if he does go to the Vikings, that means he'll have played for the Packers, then gone to the Jets, then gone to the Vikings. So in about 2035, people of Mississippi, watch out. Because he's gonna do some dodgy things with your money. Um, Javon
Yeah,
Hargrave,
literally.
Javon Hargrave, defensive tackle, 2 year, 30 million contract with Minnesota. Darius Slay, we spoke about him being cut. He went to the Steelers,
Yep.
1 year, 10 million. Um,
As did well, yeah, obviously this was way before, but DK Metcalf to the Steelers and then him as
yeah,
well. That was a really good move from the Steelers. I saw the picture of them with um with Mike Tomlin
yeah,
all pictured together looking happy. So yeah, hopefully they can do some good things. And then you said about Cooper Kupp as well.
yeah,
He got released by the Rams and then he got signed by the Seahawks to a 3-year deal. So that gives JSN another another guy to actually play
yeah,
with. It's not just him and then the running backs. So and then Sam Darnold going to be throwing on the ball. So interested to
yeah,
see
yeah.
what the Seahawks do next year.
Adam Thielen signing what restructured his deal with the Panthers for another year. Mac Jones has gone to the 49ers. That was a fun one. And Tom's favorite. I mean, Tom used to message me all the time throughout the last couple of seasons and go, "My days, that Kindle Vildor is the best corner I've ever seen." And I've said, "Bro, he lights up the league every time he plays." He has gone to the Buccaneers for a 1 year, $1.33 million. It's only important because we've had so many back and forths about Kindle fucking Vilda. Um, Mason Rudolph, 2 year, 8 million with Pittsburgh. Um, KJ Osborne, 1 year contract with Washington. Yeah, there's still so much to go. I can't
What was it
get.
about that guy that left Washington and signed with someone else? He was a good underrated piece for them. Alameda Zaccheaus. Who did he
Yes.
sign for? Do you
Um,
remember?
I can't see his name's not come through yet. Um, on this, like I say, it's just a list I'm scrolling through, and I
Mm.
realized just it's not like a list of important names. It's just a
It's
list
just
of
all names,
every
basically.
transaction. So I'm scrolling trying to find something. Juju Smith-Schuster still with the Chiefs.
Yeah, I like
Um,
that. I like that re-signing. I think he's been a really good piece for the Chiefs offense
okay.
for the seasons that he's been there. He's just been a good safety blanket. So yeah, a good piece of business for the Chiefs there. And then also re-signing you'll probably come onto this, but Kareem Hunt to a 1 year deal as well,
Yes,
which was nice to see as well, him
yeah,
staying in Kansas City. So oh, he signed
he,
with the Bears, Olamide Zaccheaus with the Bears. So
yeah, yeah. Once he was like Kareem Hunt was like next in the list
mm,
on the wire. Only a couple more actually, to be fair, that I think are worth any note. Similar to yours with Juju Smith-Schuster, I very much like the fact that the Lions have brought back Tim Patrick. Um, I was really really happy with that one. I was a big proponent of him coming back again this year on a decent deal. Um, Cooper Rush has gone to the Baltimore Ravens. They've now finally found their quarterback of the future. Um, No, we're not biting at that one. That's fine. It's okay. Um, and then I think we're at it now. Derek Stingley Jr. Right
oh
now we're into the big contracts. These have come through today, or as we were sleeping and waking up this morning. Derek Stingley Jr. has signed a 3 year, $90 million contract extension with Houston, with a whopping 89 of those $1 million guaranteed. Thoughts on that one, Tom?
yeah, I mean, well deserved for the season that he had. He was incredible because I think people were questioning before this season. He had a few injuries here and there, but he put together the piece of art that he put together, especially in the playoffs as well. He was great in the playoffs against the Chargers as well. But he just had a great season all around. I mean, there's a reason why he was first team All Pro. So deservedly gets paid, but it resets the DB market. So he's on 30 million. The next closest, I think, is Pat Satan on 24, maybe.
Yeah.
Then you've got Jalen Ramsey, and then you've got, I can't remember who the other one is. You have to remind me. Who is the
Hang
other
on.
one? I can't remember. Cornerbacks. I don't know who the other one
No,
is,
sec.
but
Uh,
either way, he's reset the DB market, and I think that's I know you were going to go into this, but with the positions that are growing in value, I think the DB market's gonna blow up as well. Because you still got Trent McDuffie, he needs to be paid. He's eligible for a contract this off season. I don't think he'll get paid this off season, just
yeah,
because although he's got all pro honors, he hasn't got Pro Bowl honors.
yeah,
So the money that he can make from a contract is less than what he could get if he gets Pro Bowl honors next year. So he's probably thinking about that as well, thinking about
yeah,
maximizing the value of what he can get because the Chiefs are going to give him the bag. Um, so yeah, it's quite an interesting market, really.
yeah. So I think who you're thinking of, Derek Stingley now comes in at 30 million average salary a year. JC Horn is
JC Horn,
25 million a
25
year.
million. Yeah.
Jalen Ramsey at 24.1 million. Patrick Surtain at 24 mil, and then Jair Alexander at 21 million are your top five. So there's 5 million. There's less than $5 million even. There's only $4 million between second and fifth. Between first and second, it's $5 million.
Mm,
This means that there will be a there will be a couple of players looking to jump into that conversation.
yeah.
Um,
Likes of Sauce Gardner and obviously who I mentioned in Trent McDuffie, those two are going to be like licking their lips, being like, "Oh wow, Stingley got absolutely paid. That sounds good for us."
yeah. Um, so yeah, there are a couple of really interesting. Yeah, there are a couple of interesting names that may come up. Um, on that note as well, there are a couple other players who got paid overnight. Saga that's gone on for a long, long time to the point where, like, because of the time it came through, I just didn't pay attention. I was on my way out for work, and your kind self let me know about these ones properly. I'd seen the notification that it had happened. I just hadn't looked at the contracts. So I ended up having to ask you what was the breakdown on the contracts. T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have finally signed their long-term deals with the Cincinnati Bengals. They have committed themselves to having absolutely nobody on defense for the next few years, but that offense might put up 60 points a game. It's going to bloody need to.
It is. I mean, it's one of those things that, if the Bengals had done this last off season with Jamar Chase, they would have saved themselves so much hassle. Like they could have just given him the contract. They could have given him probably 20. Oh no, not 20. Obviously, they could have given him 35-ish. Well, no, what they gave him 40 overall, didn't they? Right? And
Yeah.
obviously, what do you call him? Jefferson got, was it, how much did he get? It was 30, wasn't it, right?
Um, yeah, I'm gonna get up the let's go on to wide receivers here,
I think
this
per
chap.
average it was anyway.
Um,
20.
average a year, Justin Jefferson's on 35
Yeah,
million a
so he
year
was on
average, yeah.
35. So you could have got Jamar Chase for 36, 37. Instead, you're paying him 40 plus um to be the highest paid non-quarterback over 4 years. Obviously, you're giving him more guarantees than you have to T. Higgins, but then T. Higgins got what, 4 for 115 with guarantees in the first 2 years, and that means that with all the money that they're paying Joe Burrow as well, I think it brings up 44% of the cap of their cap, which is
Yeah.
insane. Playing
It's
three players, 44% of your cap. As you said, they're going to have to score like 45, 50 points a game on offense to actually be able to, compete. Like I saw some meme today. It was like they're going to give all this money and then they're still just going to miss the playoffs because their defense is not going to be able to stop a cold. So, but it's crazy the way that the Bengals do it. They do it in a very weird way, very backwards way. Like if they got ahead of the market, they could have paid. I mean, they could have paid, as I said, Jamar Chase way less than what he's getting paid now. They could have they could have paid T. Higgins less than he's going to get as well. So yeah, it just that they were behind the eight ball with this one, and that's why it's cost them so much money.
yeah, and this is where you you are grateful as a team when you have good front office who get in early and players who've bought into the project that you put forward as well because they're willing to go to the negotiating table and don't want to drag it out. They're just like, no, give me this fair value for me right now, and I'm happy. Um, and look, not to make it about that, but Amon-Ra St. Brown last year could have probably easily asked for another couple of million, but got his deal done like early April and was just like, right, cool, I'm done. I'm happy with that. Let's walk away. He could have easily waited for other contracts to come through and gone, actually, I'm a little bit closer to them in monetary value, but didn't. And that's why it's good to have a good front office who gets ahead of deals and gets ahead of these things early. Little bit of it's kind of like a little bit of a trivia question. So now with the T. Higgins and Jamar Chase deals, the
Hmm.
Bengals have two wide receivers in the top 10, like with the top 10 average annual salary.
Yes.
Jamar Chase, obviously first, the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL at 40 million average salary a year. T. Higgins is ninth at 28.75 mil a year. One other team has two players in the top 10. What team is it?
Ooh, good question. I will go with the Philadelphia Eagles.
No, they have one. And I think
Because I'm pretty sure AJ Brown's on 32 mil a year.
He
Well,
is.
not 32. Yeah,
He
he
is.
is, isn't he? Right? He's on
Yep.
32, but it's not I think
Devontae Smith is just out. He's in like 12th. So he might have been.
again, that's why the Eagles got it done early, both of them, and they're reaping the rewards now. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I think they might have, between Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, they might have just pushed Devontae Smith out. So the Eagles have
mm,
got away with this one. But there is one team still with two in there.
still with two. So it's two very good wide receivers.
Or at least as of, well, yeah, going into 2025 officially. Yeah.
Going into 2025 officially,
We're talking average annual salary.
we're talking average. No. I was thinking it's Steelers, but it's not because I think the only one that is maybe DK Metcalf, but he got how much did he get per year?
He's number four.
He's
So
four.
he's on
Okay.
33 mil a year.
Just trying to think of teams with like established wide receiver ones.
Put it
Can
this
you
way,
give me?
I'll
Can
also
you?
give you a bit of a clue in the
Okay.
sense that you said they're going to spend all this money to not make the playoffs. Same as this other team with two top 10 paid wide receivers a year. Two very good wide receivers who you hear about quite a lot. But
Oh, I think I know. I think
go
I
on.
know. Is it Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle?
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. So the
Yeah.
Dolphins, Tyreek Hill is tied seventh with Brandon Ayuk at 30 mil a year, and Jalen Waddle is a measly half a mil less than
Wow.
T. Higgins at 28.25 mil a year.
Crazy.
So
And look at the value you get out of T. Higgins compared to Jalen Waddle in that deal. Like how healthy has Jalen Waddle been throughout his
yeah,
career?
um, one of those teams in the last few years has been to a Super Bowl. The other one, as of now, still has the longest active playoff win drought in the NFL. It's so good to not have that title anymore. That's one of the most beautiful titles to not have, and I'm grateful to pass it on to our friends over uh, uh,
In
in Andy
Saudi.
Davis. Our friend over in
Yes.
Andy Davis with that one. But I wanted to ask you a question, and this is something I thought would be a bit fun now because it's St. Patrick's Day. I do
Yes.
think it's a fun thing. Everything's green, so let's talk about the green.
Okay.
Let's talk about the green that people are getting here. Um, we're talking dollar bills.
Yes.
And this is why I should never be left to be bored at work because I come up with shitty little segues like this. But we're talking about big money, big money deals. Now, these are the deals that have come through. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's no one
Yep.
really left right now to get a mega deal
No, no, there isn't.
this off season. So this is going to be pretty boring unless someone just comes out of the woodwork and a team does something that no one's expecting. Um, we're now just looking at where your likes of your Aaron Rodgers is land, etc. And what officially is going to happen with Kirk Cousins? Is he going to actually end up? So I think the Falcons have said they're keeping him on.
Mm,
Um, maybe something to do with just the amount of dead cap that they would have to eat up with letting him out the building. Um,
100%.
so chances are we're probably not looking at where Kirk Cousins is going to go as we thought we might do a couple of weeks ago, but we're looking at Aaron Rodgers, we're looking at a couple of the players on where they're going to go. So let's look to the future. Let's look to next season. Who's got a one of those contract years coming up? You're talking some of the rookies from I think it's the 2022 season. Your
Mm,
first rounders are starting to they need to find out whether they're going to get the fifth year options extended this year. Your 2020 those from the draft need to find out whether their teams are going to start investing them in their contracts if you were the second round or further ahead. Are there any players coming, or even just players with contracts expiring anyway in 2025 that you're looking at and thinking, there's someone you need to look at for a big mega deal?
um, I'm trying to think from the 2022 draft. So give me a few players and then I'll well maybe is Michael Parsons in that draft? He was 21, was he?
Micah Parsons will be one of those players who has a contract coming up. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
he does, and he's gonna get the bag, whether it's in Dallas or whether it's somewhere. I mean, Dallas would be crazy to let him go because he's premier pass rusher. Um, but
uh,
if needs comes, then any team is gonna want to pay him a lot of money to be on that team. So I think he's one of them. Who else we got from the 2022 draft? I'm trying to think. Um, who hasn't been paid
um,
from that draft?
right, let's go 2022 NFL draft. Let's get it up on here. So from the first round, you're looking at uh, play selection. So that's the one where Trayvon Walker and Aiden Hutchinson. Now, Aiden Hutchinson will likely get a payday off the Lions. He's someone you can't just let out the building.
No.
Um, but you have if you're the Lions, you have the benefit of fifth year option. Let's get that one in there first. Um,
Especially with, and as much as you hate to say it, the injury he had last season was
oh
so
yeah,
horrific. You want to be able to guard against that if you're the Lions as well.
yeah. Derek Stingley Jr. was third. He's already had his extension. Sauce
Yeah.
Gardner, as you've already mentioned, needs to be locked down. You got Thibodeau, Ekwonu, sorry, Evan Neal, Drake London. You could be looking at as potentially
Yeah,
again.
he could get in yeah, you could see him get. I mean, I don't think he's going to get that same money that those top guys are
No,
getting, but I could see him getting in the T. Higgins range, maybe just below, maybe like 26 mil a year, 27,
yeah.
something like that. I could see him getting that.
Um, you've also then got Charles Cross, Garrett Wilson.
Hmm.
Would you be looking at Garrett Wilson potentially?
Yeah, well, I think the problem with him is that is he going to be on the Jets? Like, does he want to be on the Jets? Like, I think it depends how this season goes as well with Justin Fields.
Yeah,
Um, but if he thinks that long term the Jets are the idea, then they'll give him the bag. If not, then I'm sure a team will trade for him because he's a really good wide receiver and he'll be a very good piece in um, any offense that needs a wide receiver
yeah,
one. Like, I mean, he is a wide receiver one, but he doesn't always get. I mean, yeah, he
yeah,
actually had pretty good production this year, even with all the stuff.
yeah.
So
And he had that
he'll get the
wonder
bag either way.
catch. He had
He
what
had
he
that
called a
wonder
wonder
catch.
catch. Was it
Yeah,
against
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to say it was against the Steelers. It
I
might
think
not have
it
been against the
was.
Steelers.
Yeah, yeah. It was a beautiful catch. That was like that just shows his football acumen is
Yeah,
so high level because he had a similar one against the Bills as well. Do you remember he juggled
yes,
it and then caught it
yeah.
as well? So he
Going
makes
in the jump bomb.
spectacular catches. So he'll be one. Who,
Yeah.
who who else who else we got? Because Evan
Was
Neal
it?
and Charles Cross are not getting the bag, I don't think, to be honest.
So next up, you got Chris Olave, Jameson
Mm,
Williams. Um, I just to speak on Jameson Williams. I think if I'm as the Lions, I may be floating it to him now and just saying, listen, what do you think you're worth?
mm,
Go out there and show us this year that you can continue to do it. I'm not overly asked about the character stuff. I just want to see him
mm.
continue to produce. If he produces like he did this year, go and get your decent wide receiver two money. Go
Yeah,
get it. Um,
100%. I agree.
but Olave as well in there.
The problem with Olave is he's had a lot of injuries and a lot of concussions. So if he'll probably re-sign with the Saints, but I don't think he's going to get as big of a bag as like Garrett
Yeah.
Wilson.
Well, I know we're pushed for time today, hence why this is a bit of a rushed one. I think what we might be able to do is next week when we have a bit more time, it's not St. Paddy's Day and all that sort of stuff, we can have a bit more of an in-depth discussion on
Mm,
it. But we'll just get through the first round, Tom, if we can.
yeah,
We'll just try and get
yeah,
through.
yeah.
Um, I'll try and whiz through him. You've got Jordan Davis for the Eagles, Kyle Hamilton for the
Oh yeah, he's going to get the
Ravens.
bag. He's going to get the
Um,
bag because he's one of the best safeties in the game as well. I mean,
Absolutely.
he'll probably reset the safety market with
Yeah.
how versatile this guy is.
Um, Kenyon Green, offensive tackle, offensive guard even for the Texans. You've got Jahan Dotson. Um, I see him getting paid, but not paid, if you get
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean.
I could see him being like wide receiver two, three money sort of thing.
Um, Zion Johnson, Treylon Burks.
Oh, he's not getting paid. Well, I mean, if he gets paid, I mean, he was supposed to be his comp was what was it? Was it AJ Brown, I think, coming out of the draft, and
Oh, I
he's
can't
he's
remember
not lived
now.
up to that.
Um, Trevor Penning, and this was the year. Don't forget, we didn't have a quarterback going until 20 with Kenny Pickett.
Hmm.
Kenny Pickett has just gone to Cleveland. Um, and
Suffice to say, he's not going to get it back.
yeah, it's that's a career that's just he'll bounce around from team to team. Now he's done it. That's it.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie,
Yeah, he's going to get the bag. As I said earlier on, the Chiefs are going to give him however much money he wants to stay and be the best, one of the best corners in the league. So,
Quay Walker,
oh
Packers
yeah, for the
linebacker.
Packers, I could see him leaving the Packers potentially.
Would you put him on a fifth
Um,
year option at
I
least?
don't know if they've gone for it because he had some issues. He's been inconsistent. He's had some really good plays, but then he's had some plays where he's been less than good as well. So it depends on the body of the work, I guess,
Yeah.
overall.
Uh, Kaira Lamb.
Well, he got traded, didn't he,
Yeah.
to the Cowboys?
Yes, to the Cowboys.
I found that hilarious because he was the guy that kept getting burned by every Chiefs receiver in the AFC Championship game. Like they just picked on him because he's not that good. But
Tyler
good
Smith.
luck, Cowboys.
Speaking of Cowboys, Tyler Smith, offensive tackle.
Oh, he's
Um,
really good. Yeah, yeah. He'll get good money.
uh, Center Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah, he'll get good money from the Ravens as well.
Jermaine Johnson, the second for the Jets.
Mm,
Jags have got Devin Lloyd, linebacker. Uh, Devontae Wyatt, defensive tackle for the Packers. Um, Cole Strange for the Patriots.
good special teamer.
Uh, George Karlaftis.
Yeah, I mean, his postseason production speaks for itself. So I'm sure he'll get a good payday. Obviously, he's not going to get the payday that, Chris Jones got, but he'll get a nice sum, I think.
Yeah. Um, Six final two of the first round of that year of the 2022 draft. Daxton Hill for the Bengals.
Mm.
I don't think they can afford to keep him on, even if he was on a tenner a year.
I
Um,
don't think so.
they couldn't afford his bus pass, to be honest. They just couldn't afford the
That's
bus
it,
pass.
literally.
Um, and then finally, you've got I can never remember if it's Sign or Scene or something. Lewis Scene, safety
Oh,
for
is he the one for the
Vikings.
Vikings?
Yes,
Yeah. Is he a linebacker or
safety.
safety? He's a safety, isn't he? Yeah, yeah. Um, well, because oh no, they didn't. Cam Bynum left the Vikings, didn't he? Right? Who did he go to?
Yes,
Because maybe he could help fill that void. Because I don't think he's been too bad since he's been at the
Colts.
Vikings. He went to the
I was at the
Colts.
Colts.
That's a shame. It's a shame to break up Josh Metellus and Cam Bynum because I'm gonna
Yeah,
miss their celebrations because they are on point. But
yeah.
yeah,
Um,
fair play to Cam Bynum for getting the bag.
that was it for the first round of the 2022 NFL draft. Which end of the day, it's still one of those weird drafts. Again, no QB went until 20, and it was Kenny Pickett. And then the last pick of the whole entire draft was Brock Purdy. So,
Yeah, that's a
what?
crazy one because I mean, we're talking about first round, but I mean, if you were redrafting it, he would be a first rounder.
Yeah,
Um, and he's getting, I don't know what sort of bag, but he's going to get some sort of bag from the 49ers, whether it's going to be, I think it'll be more in the 40s than it will be in the 50s, but
yeah.
we'll have to wait and see see what
Yeah,
comes out of that.
we'll see. We'll see. Um, Best comment I've seen all week was is the Department of Government Efficiency or whatever it's called. Is that Doge currently analysing the 49ers because they've cleaned house of everybody. They've got no one left. Um,
Literally.
So again, it's just wild.
It is crazy.
So I want to really quickly wrap up. End of episode question.
Yeah.
We were gonna, if I had more time, I'm gonna do this much longer, right? In the NFL, we have multiple green jerseys,
Mm.
right? So we've got the, if
I'll
I listen
stop
much
you
so,
before you say any of them because
yeah,
I already know my favorite one.
okay. So, but for the purposes of people at home, Green Bay Packers home jersey,
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars home jersey, because we're considering the teal. I added another team in here. We're considering the teal to be green because it's is what it is. Miami Dolphins home, the New York Jets home, the Seattle Seahawks color rush, and the Eagles home jersey. Don't care what Chapman says. Would like I'll allow it. We're having two from the same team. So yeah, the Eagles home and the Eagles Kelly green color rush. Which is your favorite and least favorite green jersey in the NFL?
I'll give you my two favorite and then my least favorite.
Go on.
So, because I can't pick between them because I love them both. The Green Bay Packers home jersey, I think, is one of my favorite jerseys in the entire NFL. It's just so classic. It's so, just it's so what do you call it? It's so built into the winning culture of Green Bay.
Yeah,
So I think that one, and then the Kelly Green for the Eagles is such a beautiful jersey. I think the worst one of the lot for me is the Jags. Like I'm not a big fan, to be honest. It's very
no.
hit and miss. So I would
Um,
say those two are my favorite, and then that's my least favorite. What about you?
Obviously not biased when I say this, but I can't agree with the Green Bay Packers one. Um, I think that one's disgusting. Of all the greens, that's a no. I think it's synonymous with the NFL. Like
Mm,
people around the world, you think of the NFL, you think of the Green Bay Packers, one of the oldest franchises in the history of the NFL, one of the most successful franchises in the history of the NFL. It's synonymous with football and it's synonymous with winning, as horrible as that is. But legally, for every bone, nothing in my body can let me say that that's my favorite. And I would never have said it anyway because I do think the Eagles color rush by far the best. It is. It's so clean. It's so nice, and I
what the
really
Kelly
like.
Green, you mean?
Yeah, the Kelly Green, the
Yeah,
color
the
rush
Kelly
one.
Green is
Um,
beautiful. Even watching them when they played against the Bills, I think they were wearing the Kelly Greens, and I was like, yeah, it was beautiful to be honest. So.
when the NFL have had this thing with the jerseys lately, or with some of they're like pastel colors rather than.
Mm.
It's just the way the brightness of the colors work with the NFL jerseys, and there's just some of them. I wasn't a huge fan of the last set of Lions jerseys. Obviously, I love
Mm,
them. It's my team, but it is whatever. The blue was just felt a bit dull at times, whereas this blue it just seems to stand out. I'm not a fashion expert, as anyone can probably tell, but the way it just kind of stands out is just beautiful. And the least favorite for me is the Seattle Seahawks color rush one.
mm.
I think you look like a lollipop lady in them.
I love the
Um,
blue, like the dark blue that the Seahawks have, but yeah, I agree. The color rush it doesn't work.
it's luminous.
Mm,
And actually, you look stood there. You look a bit like you're wearing one of the fluorescent jackets. It's just you look like a lollipop lady. I don't want my DBs looking like lollipop ladies. I want them looking like footballs. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't like it. Um, I also heard it get referenced as bogey green and things like that. I not a
that's
fan.
good though.
So thank you very much, Tom, for actually joining me for joining me and all that sort of stuff. Uh, Especially given the night and given that we should be out celebrating and having some fun. But I appreciate you joining me. Quick episode. See you next week where we'll probably go into all of this in a bit more detail, looking at 2025 contract years, which players to look out for, who could be getting a bag, and maybe even delving into some of the position groups as well. So hurdle that St. Patrick.
Nice.